The world is dying. Water is worth more than blood. Gasoline is liquid gold. And out here in the wasteland, you're either predator or prey. Our story begins with a man who's lost everything. His name is Max Rockatansky, but names don't matter much when you're trying to survive another day in hell. Max stands at the edge of the desert, staring into nothing. He's haunted. Voices whisper in his head, ghosts of people he couldn't save. A little girl's face flashes in his mind, his failure. His past. He shakes it off and bites into a two-headed lizard, because out here, you eat whatever moves. But he's not alone for long. Engines roar in the distance. Warboys pale. Half-dead fanatics come screaming across the dunes in their battle rigs. They're hunting, and Max just became the prey. He runs, he fights, but there are too many. They tackle him, chain him up, and brand him like cattle. Max is now a blood bag, a living IV drip for these dying warriors who worship gasoline and chrome. Welcome to the Citadel. This place is a fortress carved into a rock. At the top sits Immortan Joe, a warlord who controls the only thing that matters, water. He's a monster in a breathing mask, his body rotting beneath armor. But he's a god to his people. Down below, thousands of desperate survivors beg for a single drop. Joe turns a valve, and water pours like a miracle. They scramble, fight, drown each other for a taste. Then, he shuts it off. He wants them thirsty. He wants them obedient. Joe has an army of warboys who live to die for him. They believe if they fall in battle, they'll ride eternal in Valhalla, shiny and chrome. One of these fanatics is Nux, a young warboy dying from radiation sickness. He's desperate to prove himself. And Max? Max is strapped to the front of Nux's car as a human hood ornament and blood supply. Then, everything changes. Imperator Furiosa, Joe's most trusted driver, takes off in the war rig, a massive armored truck meant to collect gasoline. But Furiosa isn't heading to Gastown. She's heading east, into the wasteland. And she's not alone. Hidden in the back of the rig are 5 women, Joe's prized wives. He kept them locked up, using them as breeders to create a perfect heir. But Furiosa promised them freedom, and now they're running. When Joe discovers the betrayal, he loses his mind. He sounds the alarm. Every war party, every vehicle, every gun in the Citadel mobilizes. This isn't just a chase. This is war. The convoy tears across the desert, a storm of metal, fire, and fury. Joe's leading the charge in his monstrous gigahorse, flanked by dozens of battle cars. On one of them, hanging from chains and playing a flame-throwing guitar, is the Doof Warrior, because even the apocalypse needs a soundtrack. Max is still chained to Nux's car, helpless as they rocket toward Furiosa's war rig. The chase is chaos, explosions, gunfire, vehicles flipping through the air. Max can't do anything but hold on. Nux tries to kamikaze into the war rig. He screams prayers to Joe, ready to die glorious. But Max grabs the wheel. The car crashes. Nux fails his suicide mission. And Max? He's finally free. But freedom in the wasteland lasts about 3 seconds. Max stumbles onto the war rig, face to face with Furiosa and the wives. She's got a mechanical arm and a shaved head. One look, and you know she's not someone you mess with. She aims her gun at Max. He aims his back. Standoff. But there's no time for this. Joe's army is closing in. Max and Furiosa have to work together or die together. Max takes the wheel, while Furiosa mans the guns. They plow through the war party, crushing cars, dodging spears, and barely staying ahead of Joe's rage. One of the wives, Angharad, pregnant with Joe's child, nearly falls off the rig. Max pulls her back. For a moment, something flickers in his eyes. Maybe he can save someone this time. When they break through the storm, Nux is still with them, clinging to the underside of the rig. He climbs up, ready to finish his suicide mission. But he's weak, dying. And when Joe's convoy abandons him as a failure, something breaks inside Nux. One of the wives, capable, finds him and shows him kindness. It's the first time anyone has ever seen him as more than a disposable soldier. And in that moment, Nux starts to change. Furiosa reveals her plan. She's taking the wives to the Green Place, a land she remembers from childhood, where things still grow, a paradise hidden in the wasteland. It's a one-way trip, but it's their only hope. Joe won't stop. He calls in reinforcements. Gastown and the Bullet Farm send their armies. Now it's not just a chase. It's a war on wheels. Then the Bullet Farmer arrives, a maniac firing machine guns blindly into the dark. Max takes a rifle and disappears into the night. Minutes later, the Bullet Farmer goes silent. Max returns, drenched in blood, carrying bags of ammunition. He doesn't say a word. They push forward, exhausted, wounded, but alive. At dawn, they reach the green place. But there's nothing there. Just more wasteland, poisoned earth, dead trees. The paradise Furiosa remembered is gone, swallowed by the same apocalypse that destroyed everything else. Furiosa falls to her knees. All of this, the planning, the fighting, the dying, was for nothing. Then out of the dust come survivors, the Vuvolini, the many mothers. These are the women who raised Furiosa before she was taken as a child. They're the last of the green place. They tell her the truth. There is no paradise. There's nowhere to run. Just more sand, more death, more nothing. Max suggests they keep going. Ride 160 days across the salt flats and maybe find something. Maybe. Furiosa agrees. They'll ride into nothing and hope for everything. But as Max watches them leave, something clicks. He looks back toward the citadel. That fortress, that water. That's the green place. It's not some mythical paradise, it's real, and it's back where they started. Max stops them. He tells Furiosa, go back, take the citadel, kill Joe, free the people, make it the green place. It's a suicide mission, but it's the only mission that matters. Furiosa looks at Max. For the first time, she trusts him completely. They're going back. The return trip is a blood-soaked nightmare. Joe's entire convoy is waiting. Every war party, every weapon. The Gigahorse roars alongside the war rig. The battle intensifies. Cars explode. Bodies fly. Furiosa leaps onto Joe's Gigahorse, driving a blade toward his face. Nuck sees the whole convoy collapsing on them. He looks at Capable, the woman who showed him he was more than a disposable soldier. He smiles. Then he sacrifices himself, crashing the war rig into the canyon and blocking Joe's entire army. His last words, witness me. But this time, he's not dying for Joe. He's dying for something real. With the convoy blocked, Max and Furiosa face Joe alone. Max fights Joe's sons, while Furiosa climbs onto the Gigahorse one last time, rips Joe's breathing mask and hose, hooking it to the Gigahorse's wheels. The wheels spin. Joe's face is torn apart. The tyrant is dead. They return to the citadel with Joe's corpse. The war boys see their god is mortal. The people below see the chains are broken. Furiosa opens the water valves, not a trickle, but a flood. Water pours like liberation. Max gives Furiosa a transfusion, his blood for hers. One last gift. As she's lifted up by the crowd, hailed as their new leader, she searches for him. But Max is already gone. He disappears into the crowd. Back into the wasteland. No goodbye. No glory. Just the road. Because that's who Max is. A ghost who saves people and then vanishes. The last thing we see is Max walking into the desert, still haunted, still alone. But maybe, just maybe, a little more human than before. And that's how it ends. In a world where everyone's fighting to survive, a few people chose to fight for something more. Freedom, hope, a future worth dying for. Would you survive the wasteland? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe for more recaps, and share this with a friend who needs to see it.